I would love your feedback from this. This is something that I know I have personally struggled with in the past on many, many different levels. And it's been, for me, a stumbling block to success in life and in my own business. And it's been something that I have, to begin with, subconsciously, and then as I had more work done on myself, consciously, I know it's inhibited my own level of success, quote unquote success. I'd love your feedback. So, how do you deal with criticism as you're building your business? How do you deal with criticism as you're building your business? Now, I'll give you my take on this. And again, I want to be really, really upfront and transparent with you. This is something that I definitely do. I'm not a master of. It's something that I'm aware is a stumbling block for me, something that I've worked on and worked on and worked on. And I found that as I go up different levels of success, the level of critique, the level of criticism increases exponentially with that, which is interesting. You want to look at the most powerful guy in the world right now, you could argue, is Donald Trump. Look at the criticism, like him or hate him, look at the critique and the criticism that guy gets. Could you handle that? Could you handle that criticism? I suspect not many of us could, and I suspect that the people that can are in the running to be the President of the United States, for instance. Same with the politicians here in Australia. All right, so here's my take on it. I think that we're all fallible. Nobody has completely got their shit together. We're all human and we all make mistakes, and we're all, I believe, genuinely trying to do our best. And so I think that if you come from that space, that's a great place to come from, that everybody's trying to do the best that they can, and everybody's trying to preserve what's important to them, okay? So, for many folks, and I guess it's a different way of coming about it, but for many people criticize for many different kinds of reasons, and I think that a lot of those reasons that people criticize you are unconscious for the majority of people. So, things like, what I have discovered is that your siblings, your brothers, your sisters, your family members will typically criticize you because they don't want you to outshine them, so to speak, and become the favorite. That's a genetic, biological imperative to get the most food, which is where it comes from. That's hardwired into us, biologically hardwired into us, okay? Parents typically criticize you because they don't want you to do something that will hurt you. They don't want you to do something that will lead to emotional pain for you. And also as well, that's of course projected through their own fears that they have for themselves. As parents, we typically project all our shit onto our kids. I know I do that with my kids. So that's parents. Friends, typically they criticize you because they don't want you to leave them. They don't want you to outgrow them. And so they criticize you as a way of keeping you close, which is weird, but I believe that's what's happening with friends. And then frenemies, they typically don't want you to shine a light on their own insecurities. That's been my understanding, that your frenemies, they just don't want to shine a light on their own insecurities. By seeing that you are taking action, by seeing that you're pushing yourself, that shines a light on where they're not taking action, where they're not pushing themselves, and they don't want to see that. And so they criticize you to protect themselves, if that makes sense, okay? So I guess what I'm saying is people criticize you for lots and lots of different reasons. And I think that once you start to understand the reasons that people criticize you, it enables you to reframe the criticism in light of that new information. That's been incredibly useful for me. It's been a great tool for me to be compassionate about people who are criticizing me, because before I'd be like, fuck those guys. Those guys can eat my you-know-what. And now I come from the space of, well, what's going on for them? Why are they doing that? What is the part of themselves that they're trying to protect by criticizing me? So I come from that space now, and that's been very, very important for my own development. And so, I will also say this. Here's something I've noticed. I have noticed that the criticism on the outside increases exponentially the more I rise through the social and financial strata of society. The more I rise through that, the criticism, the level of criticism and critique that you must endure rises. It's exponential growth. And any time I am not trying to push myself to the next level, trying to grow, I have noticed that my own internal criticism gets really friggin' loud. Like I'm really hard on myself. And as soon as I notice that, if I then start pushing again, then the voices on the outside criticizing me, they increase in volume, and the voice on the inside, my own internal critic, that decreases in volume. So if you find, here's an interesting way of looking at this, if you find that you're being really hard on yourself and really critical of yourself, push forward. What will happen is the voices on the outside, people outside of you, will start to critique you, but the voice on the inside actually starts to change and motivate you, like, no, don't listen to those people, you can do it, kind of becomes, they're barracking for you. I found that great. I found that really, really important. And I know what I'd rather have. I'd rather have the voices on the inside, crazy Neil, voices on the inside, the crazy voice on the inside being good to me, and the folks on the outside being, they're critiquing me. I'd rather have that. But I'm interested to hear what you think, what you reckon. If you agree with that or not. Oh, here's Brad. So Brad says, you will never be criticized by someone who's doing more than you. Very true. You will only be criticized by someone doing less. Very true. Level of self-efficacy you need, and this goes covers our key elements. Look at the reasons the client's unhappy. This is where the notion of tall poppy syndrome in Australia comes from. That's actually a cultural thing in Australia. Think about Australia as a country, certainly with white Australians in Australia, is very, very young relative to other countries. And there was a sense of everybody had to work together when people first arrived in Australia. And that created what we now call tall poppy, where it wasn't seen as a good thing to leave the group and go and try something on yourself, because that wasn't good for the group. And so that's kind of where tall poppy came from in Australia. It comes from a great place, interestingly enough. Actually comes from a great place. So if you're being criticized, just know you're on the right path. That's what that really means. You're on the right path, and you'll notice that the voice on the inside kind of quietens down to get rid of that. All right, we're going to do one more thing, okay? I do not know what crab mentality is. I've never heard of that. Tall poppy is a bush in New South Wales. All right, so we're going to do one more, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. So here's let me give you this link. I don't know if that was useful. I've noticed in my own life, that's been one of the things that I've struggled with myself, is criticism and dealing with that. And it's not until really quite recently that I've started to get an understanding of that and understand what it means. And the biggest thing that I've learnt about that that's been most useful is to be compassionate of what the person who's critiquing you is trying to achieve subconsciously. That's been massively important for me. Just reframes it, when you understand that, everybody's trying to do the best that they can. Everybody's trying to protect their ego, not get their feelings hurt. That's what we all do, So having some compassion with that really helps. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.